Let me just update it on my laptop and we're ready to go. Okay.
Chinese state media says China's President Xi and Trump held a phone call.
Okay, everybody. So let's take a serious look at oil this morning. So this is the account that I lost. All right. That was the account I lost and got back. I'm just going to reset my SIM account to 0 by right clicking the SIM account. Go to edit, reset, yes, okay. Sets the SIM back to 0 and then reconnect my Bulinox data. ADP is done. We do have ISM this morning. All right. We are going to have ISM. There does not seem to be a JOLTS report at 9 o'clock, even though they say it on investing.com. We checked the BLS this morning. There is that 9:45 report, but we'll deal with that later. We don't have to deal with we don't have to really deal with the news at the moment. All right? We're not really dealing with it. Oh, I can't get away with that this morning. All right, so looking at oil on a 30-minute chart. So oil after we actually traded the ADP report, and there was a big spike down in oil from Trump's Iran statements. And then oil got very bullish overnight after, looks like it was about after the API report. I said ADP, API report, and oil went up, sheesh, $2, more than $2, almost $3. Oil went up overnight. So it has sold off a little bit, not a little bit. It sold off some this morning. So we've got again another instrument with big volatility. 89 ticks. Oil sold off since looks like about 8-9 p.m. last night. So at the moment, oil, I guess you could say it's a little bit bearish, but overnight, it was up over $3. So I certainly wouldn't really call it truly bearish, but it's momentarily bearish, I guess you could say. Now we are a decent distance. Well, we're 27 ticks away from the low and 100 ticks or
Silver
so
extends gains by
away from
plus
the
7%
high.
at around $91.18 an
You
ounce.
know, the real question is, are we going to get normal behavior out of the trade? That's the question. Is our morning oil trade still working? It seems like if I leave the darn thing alone, it seems to be working. Not great. One target, at least. So I think I'll put the trade on one position and give it a shot and see what happens. Okay, so first things first, YM on the right, put our reverse continue in, like we do every morning. So put our YM, reverse continue, change the breakout to a reverse continuation, and just going to keep things kind of conservative this morning. Just one position, target of 35, stop of 35. This is our reverse continuation. And I'll trade that in our 37 prop account and we'll label it YM reverse continue. Uh, Let me fix that. I'll trade it in 32, apply it and OK it. So we have our YM reverse continue. And I'll set up a quick magnet on YM. So I'll label it YM
US
magnet.
30-year yield rises to the day's highs after the refunding statements.
YM magnet. Also trade it in 32 at the moment. High of day, low of day. And just trading conservatively, one position. A 50 tick stop is what we've been using in the morning. And I'm just trading for the magnet. Default first target. High of day, low of day, proximity is 3. Turn it on, apply it, and OK it. When you turn on your magnet, you get your entry order line. So we're going to have it enter a little bit above 40. And on the low side, right at 70-ish. All right. So that's our YM magnet. It's a little bit early to trade. I'm not putting it on automatic at the moment. And then oil, we'll put up our one contract reverse continue like we always do. Change the breakout to a reverse continue. That's one position, a 20 tick target, and a 20 tick stop. And that's our CL reverse continue. And we're trading that in our oil open funded account. Happy days are here again. That account is back. That's kind of a miracle, isn't it? That account is back. I did not expect it. I didn't know why it was terminated. As Arnold would say, I'll be back. But I did not expect to be saying, I'll be back. And then our regular trade, which seems to be tolerable this week, we'll put that back on. But I'm just going to trade one contract. So I'm going to look for my template. Load oil new open range. That's what we call it. Oil new open range. Gonna date it. Today's date 2/4. Load it. So if you go down to range trade, the range start time is 8:59. One tick above the range, one tick below the range. Show the range graphics on chart. Go up to trade type as a range trade. End the range at 90040. If you trade it normally, it's one position on position one position on position two, 8 and 20 on the targets, 20 tick stop. BE minus 4 on target one stop move. But I'm just going to trade one contract because I don't have total faith in this trade yet. Again, I'll go for the 20 ticks. You don't need the BE, the target one stop move. So position one is a 1. Target one is 20 ticks. And I'm going to use this feature if the market moves 10 ticks in my favor. Let's move the target to +6. The market moves 10 ticks in my favor. We're moving the stop, which will be our target, to +6. Our true target is 20. If it keeps moving in one direction, it'll hit our target. But if it pulls back, our stop, if it pulls back after moving in our direction 10 ticks, our stop will be at break even +6. And I'll trade that in our funded oil open account. It's labeled CL range. We'll apply it and OK it and turn it on. And then make sure our charts are on that. Chart trader is on the right account. Same thing with the YM. Everything looks the way it's supposed to. All right. So oil testing the low. You could see oil's had, a fair amount of volatility. It made that low in the middle of the night. So that low was made in the middle of the night. So, look at oil. It's been moving quite strongly. And at the moment, I guess you could say it's bearish at the moment. Temporarily. So I think this market open could go in any direction. We could definitely go in any direction. All right. Any questions? Any questions? So we have a reverse continuation set up on the oil chart. Reverse continuation on oil. Oil is CL space 03-26. Our reverse continue trade type. Just one position, 20 tick target, and a 20 tick stop. All right. That's our reverse continue. And then we have the trade that we just set up. And we have 10 minutes. Then on the YM, we have our normal, what we do almost every morning. We set up a YM magnet, high of day, low of day. As we get closer to the open, I'll let it trade. All right. And we also have a YM reverse continue. The YM reverse continue is one position, 35 tick target, 35 tick stop. Just a simple reverse continuation. And it's labeled. We label every trade. And then the magnet was a high of day, low of day magnet. Position 1 is a 1. Default first target at a -3 offset. High of day, low of day, as I said. And then when you turn on the magnet, you can adjust your orders where you'd like to get filled if the price bursts up. Now, it's not always a magic place where you're going to get filled. Now, look, in this particular case, you have a market move and a wick here. So I want my entry long to be above that wick. I wouldn't put my entry in the wick. But on the bottom, we don't really have any market structure at the moment, recent market structure. All right. So I'm generally looking for 15 ticks of profit on a magnet. That's what I'd like to get. And we are getting a VWAP signal because in the new version, I have the VWAP signals turned on. And you can use your reverse continue to enter. You also have to make sure you see your magnet buttons. And sometimes that means you have to put the magnet on in the right order from your reverse continue. If you don't see your buttons, change the order in which you use the check marks so that you see the buttons. It's just a goofiness of Ninja. See? So usually if you just change the order that you put the trades on, it'll fix any buttons that are missing. You'll see them. Now, sometimes when you change the magnet, you have to redo your orders. It just is the way it is. So we have a few minutes before everything starts, all right? Just looking through some of the news here. I don't know. So apparently CBS has picked a real winner. Dr. Peter, is it Peter Attia? I don't know how to pronounce the guy's name, but he was mentioned in the Epstein files thousands of times. Thousands. And he was just hired by Barry Weiss. Is she CBS News? The CBS News destroyer? 60-minute destroyer, 60 minutes. And the guy was mentioned thousands of times in the Epstein files. Thousands. That's a bit much. It's a little bit embarrassing. And a lot of really embarrassingly stupid emails that he made also. It's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy what we allow these days. Pedophilia is okay. That's what's being said here. Pedophilia and trafficking it's okay now, I guess. Now, nobody said that he did that. There wasn't proof of that. Just saying in general that if Epstein had been 15 years ago, people would resign. because people actually had values. Now, no one has values. No one resigns when they get convicted. In fact, criminals are pardoned. Up is down, down is up. That's the world we're in. Up is down, down is up. But he's pretty embarrassed. Just got hired by CBS News. So should he be fired? I don't know. Anyway, it's pretty strange news. Never heard of the guy. I don't watch CBS News anymore, certainly. Wouldn't watch it. All right, so we're waiting. We've got 3 minutes to the open. Watching the YM. You can put a magnet trade in auto mode, right? That's automatic. I think as we get closer to fills, I probably will let it fill. Right now, the YM is a little bit more up than down. It's made quite a few new highs this morning. YM loves the VWAP, doesn't it? All right, so we're just waiting for the market open of oil. We're waiting for the oil market open. The US market open is 30 minutes from now. And none of our regulars on YouTube are talking. Anybody out there? Anybody out there on YouTube? All right, so what happens is our range starts to draw now on oil, right? Then at 9, the market actually opens.
The effective Fed fund rate is unchanged at 3.64%.
So we'll see
for
how
every quarter.
big of a range gets created by the open. Here's the open. So a decent pop up on the open. About 14. The range is 20 ticks or so almost. So
Order
I've
submitted.
tried to outthink this trade. I'm just going to let it fill. I'm just going to let it do its thing. If it fills me soon, I'll let it fill. because every time I try to outthink it, I screw up the trade. So today, is it going to fill short?
The information reports that Amazon discusses special access to OpenAI tech. So the information clarified that Amazon could use customized OpenAI models for Alexa.
The YM looks like it's selling off a bit. So what's my gut feeling on oil is to just forget it for today. 2 minutes, it's a big range. That's my gut, is to just forget it. It's chopping around in the range. In my heart of hearts, it's trending down at the moment, but it was up $3 overnight. How do you figure out what direction is the best direction to trade it? It's impossible to know. It's over 60. Oil's been above 60 now for a bit, right? Normally, we get much earlier fills than this. So, folks, I'm going to forget oil this morning. All right. I'm going to forget oil this morning, and I'm going to just go over to the NQ on the chart. It's chopping around inside a pretty big range. Sure, it might find a direction. But we have other fish to fry this morning. We have ISM, and I'm perfectly happy to say, okay, we waited 5 minutes for oil to fill, and we didn't get a fill. So I'm not dying to trade it this morning when the range is that big.
Order canceled.
So if anybody wants to watch oil, you can watch it this morning. I know Chantal doesn't care how long it takes. But I've got other trades to trade, so I'm going to leave it for this morning and not going to trade oil. I'm not saying it's the right decision. I'm just saying just not all that interested. So I'll turn this into an MNQ chart, 0326. And the MNQ is selling off. I'll turn on my magnet on the YM. If it wants to fill me short, I'll let it. And then the MNQ is getting ready for our open. So I'm going to put my reverse continue on the MNQ. Change the breakout to a reverse continue. Couple of contracts. We'll do a 40 target. We have our normal 75 tick stop micros. And we will trade this. We could trade it in our, oh, we trade this baby in our MNQ open. That's where we trade it, funded account. And we will call it MNQ reverse continue. So that's in our MNQ open funded account. Now, on my MNQ breakout, so I'll look for my template. MNQ, new open is what I'm looking for. And we want to date it today. Rename it to 4. Load it up. So what I'm going to do is put most of my contracts on position 1 because I use a break even on my target 1 stop move, and that tends to get hit a lot. 100 on target 2. And a bracket of 40. So we have a 929.59 trigger, 929.59 trigger, bracket of 40, targets of 30 and 100, break even if it hits my first target, and a stop of 125 ticks. And then I like to check the brackets by setting the time to 0. So I'll check in sim. I don't want to get filled by accident early when I'm just checking brackets for management. I'm going to turn off the vertical line on entry. Show vertical line on entry is off, unchecked.
Order submitted. Order
And there's
canceled.
the brackets. So I'm going to go back and put the time back to 9:29:59. Bracket of 40, targets of 30 and 100. Break even on target 1 stop move and 125 stop. Put the chart trader on the right account. Market open funded. Turn it on. Up. Something's not on the right account. Let's go back and check it. Breakout trade. Put it on the right account. 54. Market open funded. Apply it. Okay it. All right. Now we have 20 minutes to the open. It's a long time. I could do a song and dance, I suppose. Just looking through the news to see if anything special. Yeah, heat more coffee. My coffee is getting cold again. But that only takes a minute. It does need some heat. We could get a fill, but YM's not looking all that active at the moment. NQ pulled off the low. That would have been a signal. That second green candle. That would have been a long signal. Would have been a good one if you had been using the magnet on the NQ morning open. High of day, low of day. Let me go heat my coffee since we have plenty of time. I'll take my mic with me. All right. So, coffee's hot. And let me show you something. My favorite living soul has cancer, and hopefully he can have surgery tomorrow. So my little buddy has cancer. He's had such bad luck. He has half his bladder removed, and 99.9% that is cancer, and it wasn't. So he got a miracle, and now he's got liver cancer. But if his lungs are clear tomorrow, the chances of a successful surgery are tremendously good. So they believe it hasn't metastasized, and he's getting his lungs checked tomorrow, and he'll have surgery tomorrow, and hopefully he'll be fine. He is the sweetest little dog, but if you touch his leg in the wrong spot, he'll rip your hand off. So oil worked. All right, Chantal, oil worked. So maybe I should not outthink ever again, as I say every morning. Just trade the darn oil trade. It's working again. So I gotta trade it. Darn it. Let's look at an extra chart. So oil broke the range and went up and hit the targets. So there you go. I kind of knew I didn't want to be filled short. I did not want to be filled short today. It was too bullish overnight. You had those $3 of bullishness. He's the cutest dog. I love taking care of him. The only bad thing about him is if you just touch his leg in a weird spot, he'll rip your finger off. But other than that, he's a really sweet dog. He's really funny. He's the funniest dog. When I go to my daughter's house, he like just tries to eat my ear off to say hello. It's the funniest thing. He's so funny. So we're just going to wait for the open. Then I'll take just a 3-minute break before ISM. I'm optimistic that he's going to be fine. I really think he's going to get a lucky break. So Chantal was right about that oil trade. I could have just put a third chart on. Could have done it. Not that big a deal to do it. So the afternoon earnings, Qualcomm releases their earnings pretty much exactly at 4. Really impossible to put orders on for a 403 earnings trade. I think because it's trading with Google, that Qualcomm will be muted and the market will wait for Google. And the only problem is Google has not traditionally been a great earnings trade. It just hasn't been a great mover. It You'd think it would explode like all the regular FANG stocks, and it just hasn't been that great of a move. Nitin, are you saying you got rid of Rhythmic because you hate them? You can't take them anymore? That's what you mean? Yeah. So you're using Lucid. So which prop accounts are you using now then? Lucid, right? Is one of them? So we're just watching these markets. Blue Guardian. I'd never even heard of those. Take Profit, everybody's heard of. Guardian. Blue Guardian. Do they all let you use Ninja and our software or no? Oh, so that's nice. So it's the data issue, folks. But I would guess that it's more expensive monthly. That would be my guess. More expensive monthly. Entropy. I don't understand what you're writing there. Something you wrote. I don't know what you mean. Just taking a look at the state of our accounts this morning. So I have a couple of blown accounts. Looks like the YM is going to fill. I'm waiting for 36. I think 35 and 36 need to rebill. 35 and 36. I need them to rebill. And then it changed its mind. MNQ popping off the lows. James, what do you mean by that? You don't, if you trade poorly, it just resets and it keeps going for the whole month? Oh, I see what you're saying. If they're negative, they automatically reset to as if you're starting over. Which one is that? Which one is that? Yeah, I wouldn't mind that as a feature on any of the any of them. So we're still a few minutes away from the open. Wait, you're saying BNX. Who is BNX? No. I mean, is that some sort of a new account with Bullinox? I've not, because my Bullinoxes have to be reset. They have to be reset. There's so many different accounts
Natural
now,
gas futures
so
exchange
many
gains,
different
prices
ways
up over
to
5% on rising flows of
to do the
LNG
prop. I
export
don't know that
sales.
any one human being can stay on top of everything anymore, or ever, right? So James, I'm not sure what you mean because my Bullinoxes, they don't reset back to 50 if they're negative. They'll reset them to 50 if they're blown. Don't you mean when they're blown? If they're not blown, they just keep going. All right, getting ready. We're about 3.5 minutes. 3.5 minutes from the open. NQ is pushing up. YM pushing up a little bit. It might be too far away from the high of the day on the open. There's our 925 trade on the MNQ, right? On the NQ. And the YM. Definitely a lot of move at 925. All right, 1 minute.
One minute now until we get the market on open imbalance.
Thirty-five seconds. Our orders will go on the chart a couple of seconds before the open, a second before the open, really.
Ten seconds.
MNQ on the left.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
Market on open imbalance.
Order
S&P
submit. Order
500
filled.
buy side 154 million. Nasdaq 100 buy side 23 million. Dow 30 buy side 52 million. Mag 7
Order
buy
filled.
side 20 million.
Order filled. Order filled.
Okay, made about 80 bucks on that. And the YM did a quick magnet up burst, hit the target, pulled back. Quick magnet profit. I expanded my MNQ target to the low, okay? And it went even further than the low. So, trading micros, you just don't make a fortune. So, what I've been waiting for on that account is to just build it back up and then maybe start trading a full-size instrument. And I think on YM in the morning, it's probably okay to trade 2 contracts every morning instead of one, trading very conservatively. Just watching the markets for a minute. I'm going to go for 4 or 5 minutes and then come back for ISM. All right. Come back for ISM. So I'm just going to put this up. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. All right? I'll be right back.
AMD shares fall 13% at the market open, the most since October 2022, following their earnings report last night. So in 10 minutes time now, at the 9:45 a.m. Eastern Time, get the US S&P Services PMI final read for January. Forecast 52.5, unchanged from the prior, with a range of 52.7 to 52. The composite PMI forecast 52.9 from the prior 52.8.
Okay, mic check. Let me know you can hear the mic again, please. Let me know you can hear the mic. Test 1 2 1 2. Thank you. All right, so we made money on both opens. Not a lot on the YM. I think we just have to go with extra contracts and a very good. It's a little bit difficult to take that short signal this morning because the YM's up over 200 points. I might not have taken that, although 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 new highs. That's kind of a good time to take it, if you know what I mean. The odds are in your favor
In
that
5 minutes
you're
time
going to
now
get
at
a
9:45
reversal off
a.m.
all
Eastern
of
Time.
those
Get the US
highs.
S&P Services PMI January final forecast
All right, let's
52.5,
look at
unchanged from the prior. The range of
ISM
52.7 to
services.
52. The composite PMI is forecast at 52.9 from 52.8.
So on ISM services, I'll be trading either MNQ or RTY, not gold. Not gold with a bracket of 20 and a stop of 20. I think gold has too much risk, and I would be much more willing to trade MNQ or RTY. So what I'll do is I'll trade the MNQ in one prop account, and then I will trade the RTY in a different prop account, okay? And I am watching and seeing pretty much what everyone's typing. Calvin, I'm trying to read what you said. What'd you say, Calvin? What happened? Calvin, your screen's locked up. Trading what? Silver? NQ. On the open? On the open? Wait, and you're saying you made $5,000 on the trade? You made $5,000 on the trade? Is that what you're saying? That was an eval? That was an eval, right? All right, everyone. So we have an MNQ setup for ISM services. So we already have a reverse continue. All right. So we have a reverse continue. So I'll leave that on the chart. My MNQ reverse continue is for a couple of contracts with a 40 target. I'll make it a 50 target and a 75 stop. And that's a reverse continuation. That's if the ISM trade doesn't work out. Now this I'll trade normal prop account, number 32 on that one. We'll go 32. And then we'll have a breakout trade also. Our breakout on the MNQ is going to be 959.59 this morning. Our bracket is 50. Bracket
1
is
minute remaining. I'll
50.
lead with the US
And
S&P
we'll go
Services PMI
for
final.
25 ticks and 55 ticks I think I'll go 75 ticks on that second target. Break even if it hits my first target, and 100 on the stop. 100 on the stop. And I'll also trade that in number 32. Now I just want to watch at the moment the 945 trade. Very nice,
10
Nitin.
seconds.
Very nice. Here's the 945 trade. Which we usually don't trade.
52 spot 7, 52 spot 7, higher than forecast. 52
Higher
spot
than
5,
forecast.
composite PMI at 53.
And
53.
not the biggest move on the NQ. It didn't seem to really respond to the news. It's not really responding to it. All right, the news was better than expected. All right, better than expected. And it didn't go up. It did eventually go down, but we don't trade that 945 trade. It is what it is. We don't trade it. All right. So our MNQ breakout, I'm going to set the time to 0. Check our bracket. So I'll leave the software on Sim for a
We
moment.
have posted the S&P Services PMI January final report on the feed for those interested. Chief Economist Williamson in this report notes that sustained service sector growth, supported by a robust rise in manufacturing output in January, indicates that the economy is growing at an
Put the
annualized
charts
rate
on
of
Sim.
around 1.7%. However, he notes that it's a lower gear compared to the pace of expansion seen.
Turn on the
Order
breakout.
order canceled.
So that's a little bit
GDP growth
tight
cooling in the third
on the
quarter.
brackets.
Order submitted. Order
All right,
canceled.
I suppose that's manageable. The market's pretty volatile right now. It is pretty volatile. You only live once, but you didn't only live once by purposely trying not to get out of a trade. Right click, our breakout's going to go back to 959.59. $50 bracket, targets of 25 and 75, stop is 100. ISM services, label it breakout, MNQ, trading it in number 32, and then the reverse continue. I'll trade it in the same account. And we do have to be spread apart a little bit so that we can manage the bracket. And then on the RTY, so those trades are on. Then we have RTY, 0326. A little bit worried about a bracket of 20 on the RTY with the volatility that we have. Let's see what it looks like. We'll put it on Sim for a moment. So RTY, the MNQ is going. Remember, it looks more volatile than it is because our charts are spread apart, but it's still pretty volatile. We might need to use a bigger bracket. RTY, it's a breakout. I think I should have a template for us RTY. ISM RTY I would look for. ISM services, I have a million. Here's an old one. Here's one that looks reasonably recent. 959.59, we'll use a bracket of 20 right now. Targets of 15 and 25, they may be too small. I think we'll go 20 and 40 on our targets this morning. I'll go to break even -5 if it hits the first target. And the stop at the moment, 35. Label it breakout RTY. Right now I'm going to leave it on sim. We'll check our bracket by setting the time to 0, right? Time is set to 0, and we could check
So in 10
and
minutes time
see
now
if
at
our
the 10 a.m.
bracket
we get the
will
US
survive on
ISM
the chart.
services PMI for January. Forecast 53.5 on the prior 54.4.
Now it seems
The
like
range
these
is
Order
ISM
54 to
submitted.
reports are
52.3.
pretty
Order canceled.
bullish.
Prices paid. Forecast 65
They've
on the prior
they've been
64.3. New orders.
coming in
Forecast
more
55 on the prior
better
57.9.
than
And
expected.
employment.
So
Forecast
that's what I would
51.8
expect.
on the prior 52.
I'm expecting that on this report as well. So 959. Let's check the bracket one more time without the vertical line. Even the RTY is pretty darn volatile.
Order submitted.
If we get a move in one direction, I think that our bracket looks like it'll be safe at the moment, right? See how you could put the bracket on and we're not getting filled instantly. So our bracket should be okay for the trade. What we want to see is a move in one direction.
Order canceled.
That's what we need to see on this report. So we'll go with our existing setup at the moment. 959.59, 20 on the bracket, targets of 20 and 40. Stop is 35. Target one stop move. I'll do a break
The small
even
cap S&P 600 index rises
-5,
1.23% to a near
and I'll
2-week
trade
high.
this in our other prop account. Number 37, and then we'll set up a reverse continue also. Everything's is just starting to move, but remember also, like I said, our charts are spread. The charts are spread. James, the problem with gold right now is just the volatility. The setups are not safe. That's the reason I don't like gold. And very honestly, James, on this report, gold has not been performing well over the past, it's been for more than 6, 7 months. It just hasn't been a good performer. And right now, with the current volatility in gold, that's really the biggest issue. Our setup was for pre-volatility, 20 bracket and a 20 stop. It's not a viable setup, I don't think. So I'd rather trade more current setups. And there's plenty of risk. Look at the markets. These markets they have extreme volatility. These markets just have extreme volatility. I'm going to put a reverse continue on the chart. Change the breakout to a reverse continue. I'll put one contract, a 35 target, and a 35 stop. Sort of like the YM. And I'll label it RTY, reverse continue. Apply
And
it,
according to a
okay it.
source, the first day of US brokered Ukraine-Russia talks end in Abu Dhabi.
So these markets are, I, it's not a bad idea to put magnets on every chart, maybe instead of reverse continues these days, so we can use our signal system. So going forward, I may start to put magnets on. The new magnet has a reverse continue built in also. I like both. I like putting a reverse continue on the chart and a magnet, both.
So in 5 minutes time now, at the top of the hour, we get the US ISM
Let me see if I
services
have the
PMI
most
for January.
recent
Forecast 53.5
ISM
on the prior 54.4, with a range of
trade.
57 to 52.8 expected. Prices paid forecast 65 on the prior 64.3. New orders forecast 55 on the prior 57.9, and employment forecast 51.8 on the prior 52.
So the problem is the last ISM,
The source
it
from the prior report
traded
says that talks
with
in Abu Dhabi
jolts.
are expected to
So
continue
that kind
on
of makes
Thursday.
it
So again, the
less
first day of US
meaningful
brokered Ukraine-Russia
because it's
talks have
not
ended in Abu Dhabi, but are
normal
expected
movement
to
when
continue
you
on
trade with
Thursday.
jolts. Let's see if we can see if that was the case. I don't see jolts on that chart, so on the news. So this was January's ISM. I did try a gold breakout, I believe, and RTY, it looks like. The gold breakout was a bad stop. RTY didn't fill. But these markets are nothing like last month's markets. RTY eventually filled. Probably should have been canceled. If you don't get a burst on this report, it did work. Okay, it did get the first target. It got the first target. But to answer that question, I don't. If we have a setup that tests well, I would use it over gold because trying to figure out what the brackets or tiers should be on gold are very difficult in these markets. And right now, this trade looks difficult. These are maybe the most volatile markets we've ever seen, honestly. I don't recall ever having markets this difficult to trade for such a continuous amount of days. You know, it used to be you'd have a difficult trade for a couple of days, or you'd have a week of volatility, but never would we get this constant. It's exhausting. It's very difficult, right? It's not me. These are tough markets. Now, what's always fascinating is the opens are the opens are the opens. I think it's just the world news, Roz. I really think it's just the world news. I don't think it has anything to do with the government shutdown because it's open now. It's over. That's ending. I think it's these are just the way the markets are.
1 minute remaining. I'll lead with the US ISM services PMI for January.
So we'll see. I don't know if we're going to get normal trades here. Yeah, it's the Epstein files. So we have RTY on one side and we have MNQ on the other. Definite lot of risk on these reports. Definitely a lot of risk on these reports.
10 seconds.
So we'll get our brackets.
Order submitted. Order filled.
So look, you get a
53
complete
spot 8,
whipsaw
53 spot
on the
8, higher than
MNQ,
forecast, 53
and the
spot 5.
RTY
Prices paid, 66
hit the
spot
first
6,
Order
target, please.
filled.
66
Hits
spot
the
6,
first
higher than
target.
forecast,
Whoa,
65. New order,
trying to
53 spot 1,
trail.
Order
53 spot
filled.
1,
So
lower than
RTY
forecast,
works.
55. Unemployment,
MNQ does a
50 spot
complete
3,
whipsaw.
51 spot 3,
Complete
lower than
whipsaw.
forecast,
MNQ is
51
not
spot
safe.
8.
RTY was decent. Nothing to write home about because it did a quick reversal. Quick reversal. All right. But you could see these are tough. Very tough to trade on breakouts. Very tough to trade on breakouts. So the breakout could be turned off. You're at the lows. So I'm not going to take a chase. I'm not going to chase it here. I didn't put magnets on. All right. Getting rid of the breakout setups. If you put a quick magnet on, high of day, low of day on the RTY, just pretty much leave it default except for a bigger stop. Make the stop 40. But we're only going to look at signals now anyway. So I don't even have it on high of day, low of day. It's off, which just shows signals. So what'll happen is you'll get a reversal signal. There's a lot of downward pressure, right? Right now there's a lot
We
of
have
downward
posted the
pressure.
US ISM
The
services PMI
MNQ
January reports
can
on
do
the feed for
something
those
similar
interested, as some
also.
users may need to refresh to see.
Put a magnet on. Not a high of day, low of day. Now the problem is my RTY is in SIM. Let me go back and put it on the right account.
Stocks holding their declines following the data, dollar steady as well.
Label it the right trade. My RTY magnet, I just want to put that on a tradable account. I had it on SIM. So I'm just changing the account to that other prop account and labeling it. You want to see it. All right. So let's just see what kind of signals we get. Right now there's no signals because it's pushing down. Now you made a whole bunch of lows. It made a whole bunch of lows. The news was mixed. Okay. You had positive, no, the news was, yeah, the news was mixed. It was positive and negative. It was mixed. So we'll probably get a long signal. Probably get a long signal on the MNQ, but not yet because the momentum is down. It might come first on the RTY. Now the RTY is not horribly negative on the day at the moment, but that was a pretty strong sell-off, right? Before the news. Also from the MNQ, there's your signal. The question is, do you want to take it? I don't take it with the candle red, all right? I don't take it with a red candle, generally.
Order submitted.
So I'll take a little bit of a long here. We have a long signal. It may not work. It may not work. Right now, the momentum is in our favor. I'll scalp it to the PP. Okay? Scalp it to the PP.
Order filled.
And we got that scalp. That signal worked. All right? Scalp to the PP. You had 1, 2, 3, 4,
So
about
keep in mind in 10
7
minutes time now
new
at
lows.
10:15
That's
a.m.
not a
Eastern Time,
terrible
US Treasury
place
Secretary
to
Bessent is due to
take
appear
a
before the
signal
House
in the
Committee on
opposite
Financial
direction.
Services. And I'll put
Eventually,
the
it's going
live
to
video
stop
for this on the
making
feed
lows
for
for a
those
while,
interested.
right? That's the thought behind those scalps. It's not going to make low, low, low forever. It's going to eventually stop making lows, right? So that's the theory behind our signal system. And it was a good trade. It went way further than the PP. That's why trading 2 contracts is almost always better than just trading one. Now, the MNQ won't give a signal until you get the bar to close. The bar has to close. Okay? That's our rule. And there's the signal. All right? There's the signal. Now, the difference
Here's
here
President
is the
Scheinbaum on oil
MNQ
shipments.
is
It
quite a
says
bit more
Cuba has
negative than
opened
the
credit lines
RTY.
and
The
made payments on it.
MNQ is down over 250 points. I'm not dying to take a long. It might work, right? We also have an oil trade. It may work. Your stop needs to be below S1. Stop needs to be below S1. I don't love it because the NQ is much more negative than the RTY at the moment. And you don't have to take every signal. You do what you think is right. And it looks like it's going to work. It looks like it's going to work. Your stop has to be below the low. Stop has to be below the low.
Order submitted.
The stop really should be below S1. That's the truth. It should be below S1. So I want to get us ready for oil. So
Order
we'll
filled.
take a little scalp for about $100 there. All right, $90. And I don't really want to trade oil. These scalps are a lot more fun than oil, which is a complete waste of life. Look at the RTY. It's so hard to make the best decisions in the world, isn't it? What you had, though, is you had nice, smooth continuation signals. So if you traded 2 contracts instead of one, you'd be trailing. And that's why I like trading multiple contracts. So that might not be a bad idea. And the MNQ is working nicely also. All right. It's also working nicely. Let's go over to oil. So I think I'm waiting for one more thing from the programmer, and I hope that we're going to release the magnet next week. That's what I'm shooting for next week. I think we can release it now. The signals will never be perfect. You can't, signals just aren't perfect. They're just not. Once you accept that, then you're okay. But there's a lot of good ones. A lot of good ones. You see them. And you don't have to be a genius to use them, right? Very true, Davis. On YouTube, you're right. Absolutely. She was great. Anyone have any questions before we go to oil? Anybody? Any
In
questions?
5 minutes time now at 10:15 a.m. Eastern time, we are
It seems
expecting
like
US
most
Treasury
everybody
Secretary
made
Bessent
money
to appear
trading
before the
these
House
markets
Committee
this
on
morning.
Financial
Is that correct?
Services. The live video for this is on the
Yes?
feed for those interested.
I'm not seeing any
In
losses.
fact, the House Committee testimony has started. Just waiting for comments from Bessent now.
I'm just going through the comments, everyone. All right, Roz. Thank you, Roz, very much. Appreciate it. Let's take a quick look at gold and see what happened with gold on ISM. So ISM was at 10 o'clock, and my gold chart is weird. What is the deal with that? So the first thing I think of doing is right click, reload all historical data, and that did not fix it. That did not fix it. Go to a different time frame chart. My gold chart does not have the data. Did my gold chart does not have proper data. The range is correct. Let's go back to the 1 minute. And there's time missing. Seems like there's a whole bunch of time missing. Anybody else having a weird gold chart? Anybody? That time is correct. It seems like there's about 8 minutes of missing data on gold right when our ISM came out. So I don't know what happened because I wasn't watching gold. Maybe gold. I honestly don't know. Langford saying he thinks Rhythmic crashed this morning, but we didn't have any problems with data this morning until we're looking at gold right now. All right, oil, CL 0326. Now on this oil trade, everyone, and I'll put MCL on our other chart. I don't trade oil anymore, really. Let's see what's going on with oil. The oil report has been terrible, not moving for a month, for a while. It's not like just a week or two. It's been a while. They're expecting a 2 million 2 million barrel drawdown. That's not that dramatic. It's
So we're
average.
shortly expecting comments from Besant, who again is appearing before the House Committee on Financial Services. The live video has started. It's on the feed. Just waiting for comments from Besant now.
Let me see if I can get this fixed by spreading it. Hang on. Yeah, isn't that weird, Francis? Something happened to gold data at the time of the report. So maybe we dodged a bullet by not trading gold on ISM. Something clearly happened to the data. All right, so I'm looking at MCL. All right, and I'm looking at CL. CL has become volatile enough that you can almost put it on magnet. So, but first thing first, the oil report, let's take a look at the DMM. All right. And we'll take a look at 3 or 4 extra oil reports, okay? All right, so going back in time on oil reports, uh, sorry, this one doesn't have oil. I apologize. All right, going into end of August, September, you've got 3 winners, but small. Only target one. Only target one. So not terrible. You had 2 cancels though, and a dull. Then if we go into end of September, October, we've got 3 cancels and 2 dulls and 1 medium small winner. Okay? That's not great behavior. We have 3 canceled in a 6-week period. Then if we go a little bit later in time, now we're in October, the whole month of October. You've got 2 small winners, target ones, 2 cancels, a loss, and a dull. So you see the pattern you have with oil here? It's not a good performer. It's definitely not a good performer. Now we come into end of November, holiday trading, and you have a little better but small winners, couple of 3 small winners, a loss, 2 stops, and a cancel. That was first week up to the first week in January. And now the current DMM is rather poor, where you have 3 cancels, 2 stops. You haven't had a good move in 4 weeks. All right, there has not been a good move in 4 weeks. So, do you take a probability trade today? Do you know what I mean about a probability trade? You take a trade that it's going to be a winner just because there's been so many losers in a row. That's what prop accounts are for taking probability trades. So I'll take a probability trade on oil. I'll take a breakout. So I'll trigger at 10:29 58. 1029.58. The bracket's 12. Target 1 is 10. Target 2 is 20. Target 1 stop move, I'll do a break even. And my stop is 20. All right. My stop is 20. I'll label it BRK CL. BRK CL. And I'll trade it in 32. Apply it. But the first thing I'll do before we put it in 32, let's check our bracket like we always do by making the time 0 for a moment. So we'll spread the chart a little bit, put the chart on sim, turn on the trade.
Order submitted.
All right.
Order
Perfectly
canceled.
good bracket. Get rid of the vertical line on entry and optional. Show vertical line on entry, uncheck it. Apply it, okay it. So now we have our oil breakout. The bracket is tradable.
Order submitted.
Looks good. Okay.
Order canceled.
So we'll put our time back. 1029.58. Bracket of 12. Position 1's a 1. Position 2 is a 1. Target of 10 and 20. Stop of 20. BE on target 1 stop move. And I'll trade it in prop 32. Apply it, okay it. I'll put a reverse continue. Let's put a magnet on, and I'll put the reverse continue that's inside the magnet. All right. So I'll show you what I mean. The new magnet has a reverse continue inside it. So we'll put a high of day, low of day magnet on. And I'll just go for one position, -3 ticks. We'll use a 30 tick stop. 25 tick stop on oil. 25 tick stop. Now, there's a reverse continue. One position, we'll do a $25 tick stop, 20 tick target. All right. There it is. There it is. And we'll put that in the same account, number 32. And let me show you what happens. We're going to label that oil CL. All right. CL magnet. Now, you can't trade the breakout and the magnet at the same time. So
Bethend is now
this was
speaking with
not
the
the
House
smart
Committee on
way to
Financial
do it,
Services.
honestly. The
Says
proper
this is
way
a
to do it
temptation
would
of
just be
zero
just
risk
use a
financial
regular
system.
reverse continue. All right, but let me show you what happens when we do it the way I just did it. If I enable it, reverse continue has a new button that's part of the magnet. So instead of using it up top like we've been, we have reverse continue. It's built into the magnet. And then you have your normal orders, but we don't want to trade the magnet because we're trading the breakout, okay? But you could still trade the reverse continue by turning the magnet off, and I still have my reverse continue set up. So I'll leave it, all right? If oil makes a new high or new low, we will get signals. We will get VWAP signals because they're turned on. We're going to have a big class in the new magnet when it comes out immediately. So the main thing I'm doing is trading the breakout, the probability trade. MCL, right? Micro oil. I don't like
Consideration
micro
says
oil for the
Canada's consumer
breakout,
outlook remains
all
soft
right?
as trade risks linger, and
But we'll
Fitch
put a
Ratings
reverse
expects Canada's
continue. I don't
economic
like the
growth to
problem
slow
with
to
oil.
just 1.1% this
Someone
year.
on our YouTube stream the other day summed up the problem with oil on the news in a moment's notice. They said oil is not responding to normal technical analysis these days. So what does that mean? It means when the news comes out, oil is not responding the right direction. If there's a drawdown or a build, it's just not
We have
behaving
put up the full
properly.
piece from Fitch Ratings on the feed for
All
those
right.
interested.
I'll set up a reverse continue on micro oil. We'll do 15 ticks, 10 ticks on the first target, 25 ticks on the second target, 40 on the stop, and we'll put that in our 37 prop, and we'll label it MCL reverse continue. All right. Apply it, okay it, put chart trader on the right account, turn it on. Now I like micro oil for a magnet also, so we could throw it on. It's not going to hurt anybody by putting it on the chart.
So in less than 5 minutes time now, at the bottom of the hour, we're expecting the
Put
weekly
the
EIA
MCL magnet
inventories
on,
numbers. Crude oil inventories forecast is a draw of
label it real
0.639
quick,
million on the prior draw
MCL.
of 2.295 million. The range sees a build of 3.5 million to a draw of 4 million expected. Gasoline inventories forecast is
Okay,
a
we are
build
in
of
37 on the
0.755
account. You
million on
cannot
the prior
trade the
build of
mag.
0.223
If you have a
million.
reverse
Distillate
continue,
inventories, the forecast is a draw
that
of
goes really well with a
1.081
magnet.
million on the prior build of
So we'll do
0.392
high of day,
million.
low of day
Crude
magnet
Cushing
on
inventories, the
MCL.
prior was a draw of
Proximity is 3 by
0.278 million.
default. 2 and 1
The open market
contracts.
last night
Target
did see
2
release of the private
will be
API stock change numbers,
12
which showed
ticks
a
through the
larger than
magnet.
expected draw in crude inventories of
Position 1, the
11.1
target will be
million.
default, -3. We've got it labeled. We've got it on the right chart. So we're just going to apply it, okay it, turn the magnet on. But I'm not using the magnet. No, you know what? We can use the magnet normally. We're not doing the breakout on this chart. So if we get, we're not going to get, probably not going to reach these levels. So we have a long entry. Our long entry is 07. All right. Our long entry is 07. Our short entry is 63. Probably should do below the round number by a couple of ticks. I'll sell at 97. And what we're really watching is our breakout, our probability breakout, to see if we can get a break, get a lucky break, and get an oil report to work. Okay? Do I recommend that normal people take a probability breakout trade in a cash account? Absolutely not. It's not a high probability, right? It's a possibility, but I don't call it a high probability. Oil's been performing so poorly that I don't think I'm going to have oil trade rooms anymore. What's the point? Although it is fun to do magnets. But we don't need to have trade rooms, honestly, where we're not making money, where the opportunity isn't really there.
Energy data in 1 minute. I'll lead with the EIA crude oil inventories.
Now, if we don't get a fill within 10 or 15 seconds, I'll probably cancel the breakout. Okay.
Ten seconds.
Excuse me.
Order submitted.
There's our brackets.
Order submitted.
A draw of 3
It's a
spot
pretty big
455 million. A
drawdown.
draw of
You'd
3 spot
think it would
455
hit
million.
our
Lower than the
first
expected draw of
target.
0
You'd
spot
think
639
it would
million.
hit the first
Gasoline
target
inventories.
on
A
a
build
pretty
of 0
big
spot
drawdown.
685 million. A build of 0
Negative
spot
3 million.
658
The
million. This is lower
problem,
than the expected build of
the
0 spot
problem
755
is
million. Distillate
they were
inventories. A draw of
expecting
5
2
spot
million.
553
So
million.
it's
A draw
not
of
a
5 spot
monstrously
553 million.
big
Lower than the expected
drawdown.
draw of 1 spot 081 million. And crude Cushing inventories, a draw of 0 spot 743 million, a draw of 0 spot 743
And
million.
this is why oil is untradeable. If this trade gets stopped, when you have a drawdown that supports a move to the long side, when oil was bullish this morning also, right? First thing I would do is combine my orders because we're not getting there. Maybe we will, but we're not. All right. Combine the orders. So if oil will push up, we can just get out of this trade with a small profit. All right. But it really looks like we're going to get stopped out. It's
We
heavy,
have posted the US
heavy to the
EIA weekly
downside,
inventories report on the feed for those interested.
the wrong way from the news. And that's why I don't want to trade oil anymore. It doesn't respond to the news properly. And it doesn't work. The report just isn't working. So there's no point any after this. This is a probability trade that's not going to work, it looks like. And you have an oil report that just isn't worth trading these days. If we get lucky and it changes direction, I'd certainly be happy, but I'm not anticipating it. Do I want to give myself a little bit more breathing room, just a couple of ticks? I'll give myself a tick of breathing room, but I don't think it's going to matter.
Order filled.
So oil truly is, it's a report that is not worth trading on the storage report. The market open, it would have worked this morning. It would have worked this morning. Now, for whatever reason, it looks like oil wants to retrace. It looks like it's doing a retrace. But the probability didn't work. I said I wouldn't do it as anything but a random prop trade. I wouldn't have done it seriously, right? It's more of an experiment to see if this oil trade is doing anything. The question is, I
Treasury
don't
Secretary
think there's a
Bednar says
definite
stablecoins could be
direction
important to
to
the US
take a
government
reverse
financing.
continue one way or the other. So I'm done with oil. I'm done this morning. Our real serious trades all made money this morning. Our funded accounts both made money. So that's what counts. Oil looks like it wants to go down.
Order submitted.
So I'll see if we can get a scalp towards the PP with a small stop above the VWAP. All right. Small stop above the VWAP. This will be the last thing I do this morning. Let's see if it'll push down a little bit. I would take half the distance to the PP.
EIA report that the US oil inventories fallen by the most since 2016 amid the cold blast.
But really, oil should be going up on this news, not down. It should be going up. It's a drawdown. It's a drawdown, not a build. Not a build. I am going to close our YouTube stream. Thank you, everybody on YouTube, for joining us. We'll be streaming again tomorrow morning. So thanks again. Hit the like button, hit the notification bell so you know the next time we're streaming. And it looks like our oil trade might work. See everybody on
Order
YouTube
filled.
tomorrow. So we got about